ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमामि विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna, welcome back. So we are studying chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita. So we had discussed about the first section, that is the first 4 verses of this chapter, in which we came to know about the glories of this knowledge that Bhagavan is going to talk about in this chapter. And then Bhagavan also explained about how the jivas can acquire the similar qualities, godly qualities, the qualities that he possesses. So all these things, and about Mahatattva and how he is the seed-giving father, all these things he discussed. And we see in chapter 14th, this particular chapter, here Bhagavan particularly reveals all the details about the gunas, the modes of material nature. So what are the modes of nature? How do they act? What are the characteristics of a person associated with a certain guna? How they bind the jivas? How they give liberation? All these things Bhagavan describes in this chapter. So the first 4 verses was basically introduction, and a little touch about how the jivas get the bondage and liberation. And just a glimpse of this introduction. And here from 5 to 9, these few verses, we will come to know about how do these gunas act, that is how they bind the jivas in material bondage. So we will start from verse number 5. Okay. So verse number 5. Sattvam rajastama iti. What happened? Can you see? Okay. Sattvam rajastama iti gunah prakriti sambhavaah nibadhnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Synonyms. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Rajaha, the mode of passion. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Iti, thus. Gunaha, the qualities. Prakruti, material nature. Sambhavaha, produced of. Nibadhnanti, do condition. Mahabaho, O mighty armed one. Dehe, in this body. Dehinam, the living entity. Avyayam, eternal. Translation. Material nature consists of 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. So, here Bhagavan first starts saying about how many gunas are there. They are 3: Sattva, Raja, and Tamaha. So Sattva means the mode of goodness. Rajaha means the mode of passion or mode of action also we can say. Tamaha, that is the mode of ignorance. So these are the 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So when the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, Bhagavan says, O Arjuna, he becomes conditioned or bound by these modes. So then Bhagavan explains about the characteristics of these gunas and how they bind us, the jivas. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakamanāmayam sukhasangena badhnāti jnānasangena chānagha. Synonyms. Tatra, there. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Nirmalatvat, being purest in the material world. Prakashakam, illuminating. Anamayam, without any sinful reaction. Sukha, with happiness. Sangena, by association. Badhnati, conditions. Jnana, with knowledge. Sangena, by association. Cha, also. Anagha, O sinless one. Translation. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating. and reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. So first Bhagavan describes about Sattva Guna. So I will read the purport first given by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The living entities conditioned by material nature are of various types. One is happy, another is very active, and another is helpless. So all these types of psychological manifestations are causes of the entity's conditioned status in nature. Causes of the entity's conditioned status in nature. How they are differently conditioned is explained in this section of Bhagavad Gita. The mode of goodness is first considered, Sattva Guna. The effect of developing the mode of goodness in the material world is that one becomes wiser than those otherwise conditioned. So they are comparatively wiser. A man in the mode of goodness is not so much affected by material miseries. And he has a sense of advancement in material knowledge. The representative type is the Brahmana, who is supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness. This sense of happiness is due to understanding that in the mode of goodness, one is more or less free from sinful activities, sinful reactions. Actually, in the Vedic literature, it is said that the mode of goodness means greater knowledge and greater sense of happiness. The difficulty here is that when a living entity is situated in the mode of goodness, he becomes conditioned to feel that he is advanced in knowledge and is better than others. In this way, he becomes conditioned. The best examples are the scientist and the philosopher. Each is very proud of his knowledge, and because they generally improve their living conditions, they feel a sort of material happiness. Their sense of advanced happiness is in conditioned life makes them bound by the mode of goodness of material nature. As such, they are attracted toward working in the mode of goodness. And as long as they have an attraction for working in that way, they have to take some type of body in the modes of nature. Thus, there is no likelihood of liberation or of being transferred to the spiritual world. Repeatedly, one may become a philosopher, a scientist, etc. So we see, though Sattva Guna is the best among these three, Sattva, Rajaha, Tamaha, but still this guna also binds the living entities, or they become the living entities become conditioned by this. So this feeling of superiority is also a cause of their bondage. So we see, as it is said, that they are usually happy than other people. They are more knowledgeable. They are generally not very sinful. Due to the knowledge that they acquire, they find this feeling of happiness within. But it can give rise to a kind of ahankara due to this knowledge, as it is mentioned here in the purport. So they are conditioned or bound by happiness and knowledge. Sukha sangena badhnati jnana sangena cha. Now we will see how guna acts on the living entities in the next verse, verse 7. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tannibadhnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Synonyms. Rajaha, the mode of passion. Raga atmakam, born of desire or lust. Vidhi, no. Trishna, with hankering. Sangha, association. Samudbhavam, produced of. Tat, that. Nibadhnati, binds. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Karma sangena, by association with fruitive activity. Dehinam, the embodied. Translation. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. So as we see, as Sattva Guna was Jnanatmika, that is which gives knowledge or helps to acquire knowledge. There, this Rajaguna is Anuragatmika, that is, it enhances desire and attachment. And the people who are in Rajaguna, they are fruitive workers. That is, they always act to achieve or get some fruits. They always expect the fruits of their actions. So this is basically, we can see the attraction between opposite genders. This is due to Rajaguna. The desire for material happiness, that is also a characteristic of this Rajaguna. The desire for sense gratification is also there. The desire for getting name, fame, a position in the society, it is also there. They are usually very active people. Very active people. They want a happy family. And to get that, they are ready to take any kind of endeavor. So they are very active. They are very much attached to the fruits of their activities also, as we just said. So it is impossible for them to get liberation from the karma bandhana. Whereas we have seen that for the sattva gunis, it is difficult for them to get liberation because of their attachment with sukha and jnana, knowledge and happiness. So here it is due to this karma bandhana, that is extreme desire to indulge themselves in the fruitive activities. So as we see, they are very much after wealth, position, all these things. So the next is tamoguna, which is described in verse 8. Tamastvajnanajam viddhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrabhihi tannibadhnati bharata. Synonyms. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Tu, but. Ajnanajam, produced of ignorance. Viddhi, no. Mohanam, the delusion. Sarvadehinam, of all embodied beings. Pramada, with madness. Alasya, indolence. Nidrabhihi, and sleep. Tat, that. Nibadhnati, binds. Bharata, O son of Bharata. Translation. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. So here Bhagavan gives the characteristics of Tamoguna and the people who are in this mode, in this particular mode, that is the Tamoguni people. So here they are bound by pramad, madness. So see, they don't have the viveka, that is the knowledge which can discriminate between good and bad, that they don't have. So either ignorance or the wrong knowledge. So they are deluded and they fall down. They are very much lethargic. They sleep for long hours. They have no interest to get associated with the sadhus, the good people, the spiritually elevated people. Sometimes they are addicted. They don't have any interest for any sort of spiritual advancement or any activity associated with spiritual advancement. So they are usually morose, depressed. So they are the Tamoguni people. So now Bhagavan says that the essence of these three verses that Bhagavan is giving in the next verse. Just a minute. That is in verse number 9. Yes. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajah karmani bharata jnanamavritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayatyuta. Synonyms. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Sukhe, in happiness. Sanjayati, binds. Rajaha, the mode of passion. Karmani, in fruitive activity. Bharata, jnanam, knowledge. Avritya, covering. Tu, but. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Pramade, in madness. Sanjayati, binds. Uta, it is said. Translation. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness. Passion conditions one to fruitive action. And ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness. Now, in a nutshell, Bhagavan is giving the conclusion here about how the gunas bind the jivas. So he says that, O Arjuna, see, Sattva guna binds us with happiness, Rajoguna binds us with sakama karma, fruitive action, and Tamoguna covering us with pramad. Sorry, extremely sorry. I forgot to mute my telephone, so it was ringing. Okay. So, the three gunas, that is Sattva guna, that binds the jivas with sukha, happiness. The Rajoguna, that binds us with sakama karma, fruitive activities. And Tamoguna, that binds us with pramad or madness. So now we can question that is it the case that we are bound or we are captivated by only one guna? That is, a person who is in Sattva guna, he is always in Sattva guna, or who is in Rajoguna, he is always in Rajoguna, or who is in Tamoguna, is always in Tamoguna. So Bhagavan answers this question. So Bhagavan says, Rajastamaschabhibhuya Sattvam bhavati bharata Rajah Sattvam Tamascaiva Tamah Sattvam Rajastatha. Synonyms. Rajaha, the mode of passion. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Cha, also. Abhibhuya, surpassing. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Bhavati, becomes prominent. Bharata, O son of Bharata. Rajaha, the mode of passion. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Cha, also. Eva, like that. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Rajaha, the mode of passion. Tatha, thus. Translation. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. So, these gunas are always in a mode of war. That is, sometimes Sattva guna is winning the rest, sometimes Rajoguna, sometimes Tamoguna. So, it is always a game that is taking place within and around us. So, the jivas, we are always bound by one or two or three of the gunas. But sometimes Sattva guna dominates, sometimes Rajoguna dominates, sometimes Tamoguna dominates. But they are always in active mode. They are not passive. They are always active within and outside. So we have to be very alert for this. That Bhagavan will say in the coming verses. So as we see these 4 verses, 5 to 9, and from this 10th verse which we are now studying, from 10 to 13, this is another section that is to what are the characteristics of a person associated with a guna. That will be described here with little elaboration. That is when. So what are the manifestations of this gunas in a person? That will be described here in these few verses. That is still but 13, and also we can say 14 to 18 also is a continuation of this, because that is also the effect of gunas in us, in the jivas, in their action, in their death, in their different activities, and even at the time of death, the effect of the gunas. All these things are also discussed. So we can divide it in 2 parts, or we can actually continue also from 10 to 18. So I think it will be better to continue in our next class. So today we have taken the first verse of this section, that is 10 to 13. So we will discuss from 11 to 18 in our next class. So what are the characteristics of a person associated with a guna, and their action, death, etc. under the effect of different gunas. All these things will be discussed in our next class. वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Thank you for joining.